have been losing interest in this. Apologies. I have a couple of things to say. I don't nitpick. Big statements bug me. Chantal continues to trash Christianity every time she's asked to be accountable, because narcissists don't want to ever be accountable. She continues to draw contrasts between the ever-so-benevolent Islam and evil Christianity. She says other religions encourage bad deeds from their followers. Which religions are these, Chantal, apart from the dark practices that call for sacrifices and control over others? Any religion that worships God asks its faithful to be kind and refrain from violence, apart from yours, Miriam. She continues to lie that she was Christian once. My invitation still holds, Chantal, for you to answer how you feel about the violence your doctrine incites against non-believers. Executing death upon those who refuse her religion is evil, not a slight transgression. You have found a little tool for your advantage, haven't you? You use the flaws you supposedly perceive in Christianity to deflect attention away from your wrongdoing. Please justify to me your religious leader and his men forcing girls into slavery for their sexual gratification. How do you justify that? Jesus never raped anybody. He actually instructed his followers to turn the other cheek if they were ever stricken. He was suffering and dying on a cross while forgiving his murderers. He advised people to give away all their belongings to those in need and follow the path of simplicity, the path of God. My position is that a person who truly believes in God shouldn't be destroying any of God's creatures to feed himself or for his enjoyment. But what a mess it is when you say requirements upon Christians specify they must fast on specific days, yet you obnoxiously go into poor acting some months ago in Islamic piety. Ew, pork! I can't eat it anymore. It makes me feel sick, you exclaimed. Now you're suddenly scoffing corn dogs and bacon down without any form of hesitation. You have expressed many times that you despise the taste of lamb, but when you went to Kuwait, you were accepting to eat it and pretended to like it just so you could satisfy your husband, who often ingests it. Upon return to Canada, you announce once more how much you dislike the taste of lamb. The instability is insane. How is it that the taste of lamb miraculously becomes pleasant to your taste buds in the Middle East? It must be the grandness of Muhammad performing his magic. People are entitled to change their mind, of course. When they adapt a new position that will bring them desired results, though, it's called manipulation, which is what you do. This is why the public doesn't like you. You accuse a call to accountability as Islamophobia. You criticizing Christ, an Israeli, a man who was born into Jewish faith, isn't anti-Semitism though, is it? How double-standard. You do everything to engage the men in your life. I find it off-putting when women like you, "Are you serious?" and Mariam Harbawi adapt a religion only for the acquirement of a male. In the case of Mariam, she owns a deck of tarot cards with pentagrams on them. She goes online in a hijab, in a primarily Islamic country, and does readings. She uses the nickname Witchy Beezer in your live stream chats. What in the actual heck? This is not a matter of criticizing how you guys worship, but what you worship in reality. When you embody hypocrisy and you are motivated purely by landing a man, that's called desperation, putting on an act, false pretenses. Viewers have every right to comment about such public displays.
You were never a Christian, Chantal.
Being baptized shortly after one's birth doesn't mean the person instantly becomes a genuine believer or follower of Catholicism or other form of Christianity. Don't get upset when people identify sociopathy in you. Your actions speak louder than any words. Days ago you were talking about BBJ passing away, and you were simultaneously laughing as you put on a wig, without a care in the world. Anyone would have more sadness and seriousness in them when they were talking about any animal, let alone a beloved pet they had lived with for 17 years. As for people who come to the defense of FFG saying she doesn't owe anything to YouTube's audience, this should be applicable to lies too. She didn't owe lies to the public. Why has she been fabricating that the poor cat is still alive then? Isn't it dodgy behaviour? Word came from her brother, apparently, that BBJ has passed away. Why is FFG being deceptive and lying about the status of the animal? Isn't that manipulation? It's so sad that BBJ had a tragic ending instead of comfortable senior years. Unfortunately, she came in contact with people who ditched her for a fuck, and others who took her on for a buck or public opinion. People who didn't in reality give a damn about her. As far as nonsensical and contradictory behavior goes, during a live stream today, Chantal said she hates the name Blanche. Why in the hell did she choose it for her poor kitten then? Is she that mentally ill that she doesn't know what she's doing? Who chooses names they hate for family members to begin with? In most recent developments, she wore a hijab again on a stream, quoting her future spiritual counseling. This is a manipulation tactic to allure Salah by showing him she's supposedly on the right path. She gets angry at viewers when they point her inconsistencies and hypocrisy out, and threatens to block them. It's all Christianity's fault, she rants. Foodie, get a grip. What does anybody else's religion have to do with your messiness and schemes? Ma'am, don't you understand that covering yourself up in headscarves and abayas and sipping Turkish coffee for the affections of a man is pitiful? I've yet to see a Christian put on an act of piety for scoring themselves some funky time. How is your religion not misogynistic, Chantal, when its instructional book tells men to smack their wives if they're disobedient? And by the way, how is it that Turkish, Lebanese and Greek people use sugar in the same coffee that Syrians say it's odd to sweeten? Turkish and Greek coffee is a bit different to the Lebanese and Syrian, but my Lebanese friends always use sugar in theirs. Foodie states Islam doesn't persecute people. Let me see. Verse 47:7. So when you meet in battle those who disbelieve, then smite the necks until when you have overcome them, then make them prisoners, and afterwards either set them free as a favour, or let them ransom themselves, until the war terminates. That shall be so. Verse 2, 191. Kill them wherever you come upon them, and drive them out of the places from which they have driven you out. For persecution is far worse than killing. And do not fight them at the sacred mosque unless they attack you there. If they do so, then fight them. That is the reward of the disbelievers. Verse 95. Then, when the sacred months have passed, kill the polytheists wherever you find them, capture them and besiege them, and lie in wait for them at every ambush. But if they repent and maintain the prayer and give the zakat, then let them alone. Indeed, Allah is all-forgiving, all-merciful. How merciful and full of compassion he certainly is, ordering his subjects to kill those of other religious views. In a desperate attempt to diminish Christianity, Chantal says she had no choice about being baptized as an infant. Babies forced into Islam upon birth also don't embrace that cult out of their own choice. In an audacious manner, Islamic thought insists that we were all born Muslims, but some of us lost our way. What a supremacist attitude! How dare! You said you adapted your faith by first learning about the prophets. What prophets is that, Chantal? The ones I've already referenced who caught and took Christian girls as sex slaves. How saintly and spiritually enlightened of these men indeed. Thank you for listening, everyone. I couldn't progress any further into her stream because it is so infuriating and unpalatable with her supremacist attitude.